What's the difference between a good PBN network and a bad or low quality PBN network? So I guess you're probably talking about like buying PBN links. Um, so how can you tell the difference between a solid PBN that's okay to buy links from and one that you probably want to stay away from? And I'll let Nick go into Nick's the resident PBN guru here. Well, I know this stuff too, but Nick is really the specialist on PBNs.
To keep it simple, since there are a lot of variables that can kind of work in your favor, even when we're talking about spammy PBNs, a good PBN or a good network is going to be one that holds the test of time, so relatively low D-index.
How do they know that as
Um,
a client though?
yeah, see, that's why I wasn't really answering it from that perspective, or I wasn't going to, because a good PBN is going to give you an influx in the SERPs, right? Now, if I'm talking about building a PBN, or like if I'm looking at two PBNs, what makes a quality PBN versus a non-quality PBN? Well, a couple of things that can be looked up is hosting. So we can see where it's hosted. Typically, if you're talking about super cheap hosting, that's one of the big negatives that you see a lot of really low-end suppliers using is 99 cent or lower monthly hosting fees. Now this creates all sorts of problems because essentially these sites are hosted on shared hosts that are typically connected to a lot of really low-end spammy sites. This can lead to massive de-index rates, and typically if a supplier is using, let's say you ordered 10 links and 9 out of 10 of them are on these low-end hosting uh, providers, then it's probably going to be a red flag because it's a matter of time before you're going to face some sort of problem. Next thing to look at is who's on the sites themselves. So how many backlinks are going out to what you consider clients? Are there any authority outbound links? How many links total are on the site? How many posts are showing?
All right,
And is
let's
there
let's let's go a little
any...
more detail into this. So you
Mhm.
said but you want to check like who the site's linking
Yeah,
to,
right.
like
So
what other
who do
sites
you
they're
think is
linked.
paying to be on that
Okay,
PBN, right?
so you want to make sure they're not like super spammy, low
Yeah,
quality
is there
sites, I guess.
Viagra stuff on there, porn stuff on there on a general site? Like, is it hyper general and the content's like really low quality?
Then you said you want to check and make sure there are outbound authority links.
Yeah, just see if there's any of that in there, or is it all just going to, low end affiliate sites, things like that?
Yeah, you
Um,
want them to be linking to other stuff that's not just paid links. You want
right.
them to be linking to some quality authority sites as well.
hmm
What'd you say next?
And then I guess, you could look at content quality. Is it spun content? That's going to be something that you don't want. Typically the new age PBN, the ones we have in our rental network or in our personal networks, um, they operate more like a Fiverr link farm type guest post, right? It's not the lowest quality. It's not spun content. It's not something that would pass as a high-end site that's going to sell something, but
You're
it's going to
saying you're
be
saying
good for a
our
Google.
PBN could be seen as like a low quality guest post.
Yeah, like a Fiverr guest post,
Not a little
basically.
bit different because it's got all that homepage power.
Right, for sure. I'm just
It
talking about
feels
like,
the
when
quality of the outbound links and the content and the feel and
and the money that you spend, from hosting to upkeep is more in line with, like a not so monitored guest post site, right? Um, so things have changed because 5+ years ago, you could really get away with spinning content, having absolutely no design, and just letting things roll on a blog. It's not really the case anymore, and I've gone through a ton of D-indexes. So
what about
yeah,
as far as like pricing? You see people posting in some groups or selling on Fiverr where, you get I don't know, 50 PBN links for $5.
hmm
Is that pretty much
uh,
instantly mean
yeah, it's going to
no?
be a no. You can't. realistically cover hosting costs on a quality network, content costs on a quality network, etc. at that price point. And so, anytime that I have bought to test any of those vendors,
I don't even understand how they cover the content alone.
it's all just spun,
Makes sense, yeah.
spun content. And so, a lot of times the sites that you get on are going to be de-indexed already because they've just got massive amounts of these sites and they're just throwing content through them nonstop. They don't check indexation.
They're probably linking out a ton off of them as well.
Yeah, and to anybody, right? So those are some of the things you'd want to look up. I'd say those are the majority points that are going to set off a quality PBN to a non-quality. And I didn't get into it, but a way that you would look up the host is you could go to whois.com, put in the website, and then reverse look up that IP address for that hosting company, and then you can actually see what kind of other sites are on there.
Let's go ahead and do that real quick. Well, I guess we can't do it to a PBN.
Yeah.
But we could look up a random site real quick.
I'll make something later for it.
Dog toys. We'll look up this random dog toy site. That works, right?
Sure.
Let me get that off the screen for you. Yeah, so
this is new.
What? Is it?
Yeah.
They changed something
right here. Yeah.
Yeah, so go to whois.com/whois. Enter the domain name you want to search for. What are we looking for?
So we know it's on Dynect, but where's an IP address that we can trace back? Go down.
I'm going to search for IP. It doesn't have IP on here anywhere.
Oh, really?
It doesn't.
Maybe it's in here. No. Oh, is it redacted now?
Could be redacted. But I searched for IP and I didn't find IP anywhere except for up here, so do you want to try one more?
No, just move on. I'll make one for this later. Because maybe Whois does have that redacted now.
Just try one more real quick. I just want to check for my own curiosity. Let's try this one.
Maybe like a lower end site.
These aren't PBNs, by the way, that we're testing. I'm just picking out some random big authority sites for like dog toys. So,
well, that's a weird set of name servers there. Keep going down, and if not, we might be able to look it up via the name servers by doing a search that way.
IP not listed anywhere, at least as a label anywhere.
Yeah. You could maybe put these in Google and then
like this.
No, that's what I was saying. Just let me. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look it up later.
Guess we haven't snooped on anyone's PBN in a long time.
No, but typically, like I would just do it through there. So, yeah, I don't know.
Anyway. Yeah, you guys can fool around if you really feel like checking on someone's PBN, or you could just ask them, right? You could ask, where are your PBNs hosted, and they could lie to you, I guess, but you can at least try to ask. All right. Anything else to say about PBNs, or going to the next one?
Basically it.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching. Be sure to check the description below for links to our blog for more info on this topic, along with a bunch of other cool stuff like case studies, our Facebook community, and our link building services. And like always, remember to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell if you enjoyed the video. Thanks and happy ranking.